Alrighty, what is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, by the title, you can tell I'm coming out with my second mock draft of the year. And yeah, I know it's April. We're like 2 weeks away from the draft, and I'm like just dropping my second mock draft now. It's a crime, but unfortunately, I've had every sickness that has crossed the land of wherever the heck I am, because I can't tell you guys. But with that being said, we are coming back with another mock draft. We have a lot of mock drafts coming towards you guys. I'm going to react to some mock drafts in upcoming videos from some expert NFL analysts, kind of look at what they're thinking about the Patriots picks here. I have a Patreon member mock drafts that I'm going to be reacting to. And I'm going to be coming out with some more of my own mock drafts. So there's just a lot of great content that's going to be coming out. I know I still sound like I was punched in the throat as a kid and it never went away. I'm still sick, so try to bear with me on this one, guys. Today's video is going to be with trades, though. Last video, we did picks, just standing pat with where we were, not making any types of trades. I have the pick value chart here we're going to try to go off of to try to make this as realistic as possible. I'm going to see how the board falls and kind of go from there, but I already have an idea for the first pick, Patriots at 14, that I've kind of been throwing around the last couple of weeks. I threw this around to my Patreon members in our Discord chat a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago by now. I've thrown it around with some other Patriots content creators. I mean, it's something that I think is realistic and something that I really like, and I haven't heard anybody else do. And I think that there's like a real world in which that's a move the Patriots could make. So without further ado, let me share my screen and we can hop right into today's video. In fact, I think I have to take this off real quick for you guys. There we go. Let me know what you guys like more. I know I asked you guys this before. I didn't get a whole lot of feedback on it. Do you guys like when you still see me on the screen, or would you rather have full screen of the mock draft, so you guys can see the entirety of what's going on here? I figure you guys would like this more, but, you know, let me know. I want to know what you guys like the best. So let's hop into this. So I already have it run up here a little bit. I don't think the Patriots are going to trade up in this draft. If they do, maybe it's a couple picks. Maybe that's a video in which we explore. I just don't think it's very realistic. I think trading down, if anything, is realistic, or picking where they are. So we're just going to start. See how the board kind of falls here. Anthony Richardson goes at 4. Will Levis still going at 7. Still feel like that's a little bit high. Paris Johnson off the board. Jackson Smith and Njigba off the board. Witherspoon and Joey Porter goes right before to the Jets. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. They already have a really good tandem at corner, but maybe there's a world in which they just want to have a crazy secondary. I don't really understand that last pick. But kind of looking here at who's available for the Patriots. Peter Skoronski, the tackle, I think that would make a lot of sense for the Patriots. Not in terms of like he's a guy I love between, is he a guard, is he a tackle, but he's the most technical, sound offensive tackle and maybe offensive lineman in its entire class. So would not surprise me if the Patriots went with him. I'm not a fan of Quentin Johnston. Let's just not go down the N'Keal Harry road again. I think there's a world in which Kalijah Kancey could be a guy that they're interested in. And then you have, you know, Deonte Banks and Brian Branch here, Darnell Wright. Not really guys that you need to pick here at 14, but there's something I want to explore. In fact, do we have Zay Flowers? So Zay Flowers is still on the board. Jordan Addison is still on the board. And Emmanuel Forbes, who the Patriots really like, also on the board here. I'm going to trade down, but it's not going to be for what you think. We've heard a lot about the Patriots in Jerry Jeudy, right? The problem is that the Broncos, they need something enticing to part with Jerry Jeudy. And I think by doing that, they want a first-round pick. I think a very interesting move is, hey, Patriots, if there's not a guy you want here on the board, if you don't have the tackle you like, or you don't have a corner that you like here, because, I mean, honestly, Emmanuel Forbes is a second-round pick. I like Deonte Banks, but at best, he's at the end of the first. if there's just not a guy you really like here at 14, and especially if the Patriots want to go wide receiver, trade down in the draft, compile up to get a second or third pick, or just another second pick. At the end of the day, a top 100 pick, and you get a guy who could be a wide receiver one and has proven himself at the NFL level. This isn't a great wide receiver class. JSN already went here, as we saw, to the Eagles. And I do like Zay Flowers is growing on me. You guys know my history here with Zay, but Zay Flowers is growing on me. I wouldn't hate it if they traded down late in the draft and got him. I don't know how I would feel about it at 14, but if they traded down, I wouldn't necessarily hate it. But you know what? At the end of the day, cancel out all the question marks. Bring in a guy that's worked with Mac Jones, has worked in an Alabama offensive scheme, and marry the two, and bring Mac Jones, his guy, a wide receiver one with someone he's already had chemistry with. That's a day one plug-in move that you're not going to get with a Zay Flowers. He's not going to be plugged in day one and a guaranteed connection there with Mac Jones. So why not get a guy who's been in the NFL, has been able to do it? So let's see who's calling us. Pittsburgh at 17. No, I've heard a lot about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this one could make a lot of sense, right? And I think the Minnesota Vikings, maybe they're another team that does. I think if the Patriots trade up or trade back, excuse me, it's going to be from picks probably 18 to like 24 would be my area in which I think the Patriots would trade down to, 25 at the least. That's just kind of the area in which I think they would do so. But I think Tampa Bay trading up to try to get, whether it's a quarterback or maybe they have a receiver they like, they're going to need a lot of receiver help with their guys with getting older and expiring contracts. So I'm thinking maybe we look here at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick 19 and we try to make a little trade here. So they get 14. We get 19. And then let's see, we get 50th overall. So the 50% chance. So we might only be able to get 82 here. But if we give up a 7th, we might be able to, because I think the picks here are a little lopsided. Because the Patriots pick is worth around 1,100 points. 19 is worth around 875. And then 50 is worth about 400. So if the Patriots could throw in maybe 210, how much would this entice them? Yeah, it's not going to entice them much. We might have to throw in like a 6. Or maybe we honestly just go 82. Or we look at trading with somebody else. I feel like I've seen a lot of people, because I want to respect the board too, and say, well, let's make the trade partner realistic. I just don't really know who the Vikings would trade up genuinely to trade up to 14 to pick. I don't think they need an offensive lineman. I mean, what quarterback are they going to take? I just think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, honestly, are a team that probably realistically makes the most sense. Did we get rid of that? So yeah, we did. Let's look at 82. We get 82 and 53. So that's something we could do. We can get 82 and 53, but man, if we get a second rounder, man. Try to do some quick math here. 19 at 875. 200. So no. We don't want to give them. We have a lot of 6-round picks. Is this something we want to do? Because I don't think the Patriots will want to give up another pick just to grab 50. And it honestly might just be 82, to be honest with you, which is okay because we have 82. We could still compile picks to trade back up. So let's go with 82 and 153. I think that makes sense. I would have loved to grab 50, but it's all right. Again, we're not trading down all that much. We're trading from 14 to 19. So to grab 50 overall. Again, it doesn't really exactly go with the math anyway, according to this value pick chart anyway. So the Patriots are going to trade 14 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the 19th overall pick. They're just only going to trade down a few spots. So they're going to trade down about 5 spots, and they're going to get 82 and 153. We're going to offer this to them. No surprise here. They accepted it, and we resume. And their guy was Broderick Jones. Makes sense. I obviously like Broderick Jones for the Patriots too. I feel like we've explored a lot of these things, and this is just an area in which I would love to explore with Jerry Jeudy. So now we're gonna go here with where are you? Denver Broncos. And it makes a lot of sense because the Broncos don't have a first, if I'm correct, because they traded that for Russell Wilson. And the next time they pick is 67. So you're getting back here into the first round. Yeah, you're getting back here into the first round to hopefully make your offense a little bit better here and give Russell Wilson some protection after the insane capital you gave up for him. So Patriots will give up 19 and get Jerry Jeudy. And I already know what's going to happen here. They're going to say they're not going to do it. So we have to force this. That's just how PFF is. They don't really know when it comes to players what to do. So Patriots trade down from 14 to 19. And now they're getting Jerry Jeudy. And I wonder maybe if there's a world in which the Patriots trade a little bit lower. But at the same time, too, I think, the Broncos are going to want still a pretty valued pick for Jerry Jeudy. You can't just trade down late, like super late into the first and still compile that trade there. So I think if the Patriots trade down still to 19, pick up an extra top 100 pick, and they actually even picked up more than that, and you get your number one wide receiver. Let's force this trade. And did it resume? All right, they're on the clock. Who do they go? They go edge. Also makes a lot of sense for them. Let's stop here. I wish we could see. So Jordan Addison, we're still in the first, but I wonder, can we? That's what I hate about PFFs. You can't see who's still on the board. But I'm thinking maybe we trade up somewhere here early into the second, and we try to go offensive tackle. Let's see who falls here. Michael Mayer, Zay Flowers. That's a great pick for him. Anton Harrison, Dalton Kincaid, Kalijah Cansey. So maybe we trade with. Maybe we trade at 38. Makes a lot of sense trading here with Josh McDaniels. Let's see if we can. Let's see who falls there. If we can still get a tackle. This is not what I wanted. All right. Emmanuel Forbes just went. That could have been another great pick. So Darnell Washington went pretty high here too. Okay, yeah, let's trade here. Let's trade we want 38 and we'll give him 46. Let me look here. So 38 is worth 520 for 46, 440. So we only have to give up what? Oh shoot, no, we don't want to go that high. We might be able to only give up, maybe give them their pick back, but that might be a little too low for them. I don't know if they're going to accept it. We might have to look at 153 because we can trade one of these picks here between 184 and 187. Trading a 4th round pick here is realistic, so let's offer it. They declined us? That's absurd. That's crazy. Okay. What if I give you one? 135. Still a 4th round, but again, we have 3, so. And now they give it to us. Okay, sweet. So here's left on the board here. DeJuan Jones, Cam Smith, Josh Downs, who I do still like Josh Downs for the Patriots, Sam Laporta, Tank Dell. I know a lot of people like Jack Campbell. I just think that he's a guy that's very one-dimensional. He's very just stop the run. I think if the Patriots are actually going to go linebacker, which they probably aren't going to go linebacker high in a bad linebacker class anyway, they probably want to go with like a guy who can take over maybe for somebody like Jawan Bentley and can play middle linebacker and can be a actual leader. Jack Campbell is not that. He's a very one-dimensional, just come down, big guy, stop the run. Not really much to him other than that. So I don't know if that's a guy that they love. And I know that there's some questions about Matthew Bergeron and him kind of becoming more of a guard. I actually really like Cody Much here. Well, this is too early, so I'm thinking that we go DeJuan Jones. Everybody here knows DeJuan Jones. He's going to be a right tackle, but this guy has insane length with his arms. I mean, if the Patriots could have gotten like DeJuan Jones and Washington, man, let me tell you, Ramondre Stevenson is running for like 200 yards a game on the right side. But the Patriots will be able to put DeJuan Jones in here at right tackle to start if that's what they want to do. And you have your right tackle, Trent Brown to left, or you don't have to play him this year. Keep Trent Brown at right, play Riley Reif there at left tackle, which I still think Trent Brown should be the guy that plays left tackle. It's just your smart move here, protecting Mac Jones' blind side. But that's a talk for another day. But DeJuan Jones here, I think, is definitely the pick here. I think it's great value too. Obviously ranked at 35, ADP of 34. We're getting him here at 38. This is a guy that I really like. You would love to get a left tackle overall, but maybe we can get a guy here in like the 4th or something that we can get at a left tackle. But DeJuan Jones, a great big-bodied right tackle for the Patriots who can shut that down for the next few years at least. So I really like this. So Kelee Ringo goes right after. I still think that's high for Kelee Ringo. I'm not a big Kelee Ringo guy. A lot of you might know this. Cody Much just goes right there to the Steelers. Sam Laporta goes. Drew Sanders is another guy a lot of people have asked me about. I'm surprised that Trenton Simpson was like the 3rd or 4th linebacker off when he's considered the top. That's a little crazy. So we're in the 3rd round here. Coming up here at 76. So we've went wide receiver here, trading for Jerry Jeudy. We've gone offensive tackle. Can we get a corner? I like Jordan Battle. We've talked a lot about Jordan Battle. I don't want to go here. I think that they'll be fine at tackle. Excuse me, they'll be fine at safety here for at least. No, it's too early for Moro Jomo. Maybe he's like a round 4 guy we look at. But I think they'll be fine with safety this year, and I think there's some guys later on that they can get. I would love to look at cornerback if we can. Blake Freeland is another guy that I really like. So we're going to have some questions at 82 for sure. Darius Rush is another low-key guy I've also really liked for the Patriots. Okay. You know what? Let's look at cornerback. I think that's the move here for New England. They still want to add a corner decently high. We didn't go rounds 1 or 2. Let's see who we can get here on the board. I'm not a big fan of Garrett Williams personally. Travius Hodges-Tomlinson, just no. I'm just not a big fan of him. Problem is that there's a lot of guys I like for the Patriots, but they're within the same range. So I feel like the problem is if I go with one of those guys, it's a little bit of a push. But then again, you go to 82 and get one of those guys, but you're not going to be able to get the next one of those guys here at 107. I've talked about Jalen Jones before. This is obviously still early for him, and I don't love the corners, and it might be another year that we go corner in the 4th. So let's look at another position that we could target here. Maybe edge. edge is one, and maybe this is a spot that they go wide receiver. It wouldn't surprise me. A.T. Perry, I don't think makes a lot of sense. Moro Ojomo, just feel like it's early. It might be just a situation where the Patriots stretch a little bit to make this pick. Because I would love to go corner, but Garrett Williams is not, to me, starting caliber outside cornerback. You know what? Let's go. Because edge could be another good one, but I feel like they can get bodies here in the 4th. So let's go. I really do like Isaiah McGuire, though, but where he is. Let's look at wide receivers for a second. I think this could be a good place if we found someone we really liked to take. But yeah, I just think with the receivers left on the board, this is just too early, which I'm okay with. I think there's better places to go. Do I want to go with Isaiah McGuire? He's a guy that I really like out of Missouri, but I know with their edge rushers, they do like to go with a more top end guys. And maybe we go with KJ Henry. I really like Moro Ojomo out of Texas. This is a guy that I really, really, really like for the Patriots. I mean, coming out of Texas, this is your ultimate interior defensive line piece if you're the Patriots. And I think that there's a case to be made that the Patriots are in the market for a pass rush interior defensive lineman because Christian Barmore is what? In his he's going into his 3rd year out of a 4-year contract. You re-signed Daniel Akwale to, I believe, a 1-year deal. And he's a guy that's been a rotational piece also. But outside of those two guys, you don't have any pass rush interior defensive linemen. I think Moro Ojomo comes in and definitely gives you that ability to be able to do so. Obviously, there's been some issues between Daniel Akwale and Christian Barmore being able to stay healthy. When they've been able to, the Patriots defensive line has been one of the best in terms of pass rush with Matthew Judon, Josh Uche, and then Daniel Akwale and Christian Barmore. But those guys have very rarely been able to stay healthy over the last 2 years and be on the field together at the same time. I think we can get to interior defensive linemen to actually apply pressure. On top of the edge rushers we have, we have some secondary questions. If you can get to the quarterback, then it's going to definitely limit how bad that secondary looks. And I really like Moro Ojomo here. I'd like to get him maybe more in the 4th, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's a lot of guys within that like 80 to a 100 range that I really, really like. You can't get them all. So you got to kind of make a little bit of a push here. And I think Moro Ojomo makes a lot of sense. A pick that maybe surprises some people as an interior defensive lineman, but one that I really like Moro Ojomo for the Patriots. So we're just going to do it. All right. So we're at pick 82, and we're going to have a lot of questions here. So we went wide receiver with Jerry Jeudy. Then we went offensive tackle, and then we went interior defensive lineman with Moro Ojomo. I want to say maybe they would double up at tackle, but I think they made a lot of pieces to where they're comfortable with what they have at offensive tackle this year. Maybe they had like a later round guy. So with us still being here, and I forgot at 82, we made that trade. So we're actually still here in round 3. Maybe. Is this where we don't want to look at going running back here. I feel like the 4th round is as early as they should still go in terms of that. Maybe we look at cornerback or we go edge to truly solidify that defensive line. Luke Schoonmaker is another guy I like, but I think there's some guys still that they could get a little bit later. I know everybody likes Tyler Steen. He's a guy that I like, but Let's look at these running backs just real quick. Kendre Miller is a guy that we could maybe get at 107, but if not, I think there's some guys later on that I do still like. Keaton Mitchell's a guy that I'm very big on that a lot of people just aren't. Kenny McClintish is a guy that I've also been very, very high on also. And maybe we trade up from 107. We'll see. I just don't like going running back here. Let's look at tight end real quick. They love Michigan, so Schoonmaker could make some sense. But Kuntz could also make sense a little bit later on, and we can get him here up later in the draft. So let's not go tight end here. Let's go defense. I think we either go cornerback here or we go edge rusher. Let's scan both of those guys if it lets me. So we want to go edge and we want to go cornerback. So Garrett Williams still on the board. This is why I said I'm not big on him. And it seems like they're not either. Isaiah McGuire is still on the board. Surprising. KJ Henry here, this guy that I really like. Coming out of Clemson, they like to go with big name guys there. So this would really genuinely make a lot of sense. Darius Rush, though, man, this is a guy that I've really liked for the Patriots. Do I want to just go KJ Henry and solidify that defensive line for the Patriots? Because I don't know, they seem like over the last couple of years they're really pivoting to a top tier defensive line and pass rush compared to a top tier elite secondary. And maybe that's what they're doing, and we have to look at a little bit of the trends here. You guys know KJ Henry. I know a lot of you have mocked him to the Patriots too. This is a guy who is very well-rounded, and I think that's what makes him such a good fit for the Patriots. Again, coming out of Clemson, it makes a lot of sense from a big college. That's what they like in their edge rushers, but a very good pass rusher here, 84 overall grade, but a run defensive grade of 78.4, a pass rush win rate of 15.9. Run stopping rate a little bit low. He's more of a pass rusher than a run stopper, but he's definitely a more well-rounded edge rusher than I think somebody like Josh Uche, and the Patriots really need a more well-rounded guy. That's how you're going to get on the field. That's not my one-on-one statistics. There we go. As you guys can see, he still put up some decent sacks. He does get to the quarterback. Maybe doesn't get a whole lot of sacks, just, 13 in his entire collegiate career, 5, and then 3. But he gets to the quarterback a lot. You can see with those hurries, 34 this past year with 5 passes batted down. This guy's a technician. I think that he can do a lot of good stuff for the Patriots, and this solidifies it. Josh Uche probably gone after this year. Matthew Judon, his contract's coming down here too. We're about halfway through that, so got to start looking here at edge rusher. And in round 3, you get KJ Henry, a guy who kind of does it all for you. So I'm not against this. Luke Schoonmaker goes. Darius Rush goes, and Eli Ricks goes. All right, at 107, can we get our running back is the question. And we could at 107. Kendre Miller is a guy from TCU that is still here sitting for us with our first fourth round pick. You guys know me. I don't really think they need a running back. I think that James Robinson will actually be good for the Patriots, but it wouldn't be a surprise if he was like a surprise cut at the end of training camp. If he could stay healthy, I think he could be really good for the Patriots, that 1-2 punch with him and Ramondre Stevenson. But, you still have question marks on what is somebody like Pierre Strong going to be. He should be your third down receiving back out of the backfield, and you should be fine with what you have without even needing to draft a running back high. But we know that they're interested in still drafting a running back and still truly solidifying this after Damian Harris left, and they like to continue to restock. Maybe they just don't see a lot in Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris, or maybe they see a future for Pierre Strong, but not Kevin Harris. And they want to bring in another guy because, hey, we saw it last year. We thought Patriots were perfectly fine with running back. Then Ty Montgomery goes down, or Ramondre Stevenson deals with injuries. Damian Harris never able to get on the field. So this is usually where they like to draft running backs, and it would make a lot of sense. Kendre Miller coming here from TCU. We know Bill Belichick loves him, was talking to him a lot when he was over there at TCU. This is a guy who isn't going to give you a whole lot from a receiving perspective. He's more of a rusher here. So you can see receiving yards, 116 this past year, 117 in 2021, and -4 in 2020. You're drafting him to be a running back. He's going to run the Brock. This is a guy that doesn't bring necessarily a whole lot of speed. He's more of a run through you type of guy. But we know that that's what the Patriots prefer. They usually don't draft fast running backs. Pierre Strong's the fastest running back they've drafted in years, guys. I'm talking like even before 2014. So that says a lot. They like to guys that can kind of just put their shoulder down, run through you, pick up those tough yards, and Kendre Miller absolutely does that. Belichick very familiar with him, was talking to him a lot, like I said, and I think this pick would make a lot of sense for the Patriots. I know we're going with a lot of defense, but they do still need offensive picks here. So alrighty. So now we're on the board again. And I wonder if we could grab a corner here. There's not a lot of guys I'm loving. And I wonder if they feel fine with the cornerback group that they have. You got to grab a guy. There's not a lot of guys I love on the board. And that's the problem with the cornerback group, is that it's good, but it starts off great and then falls. And as we get down here, these are some guys I haven't done a whole lot of due diligence on as we get lower here. I know it's a little bit about Corey Trice. 6'3", 206 pounds here. He's going to be a little bit more of a developmental piece. He's very good against the run, and he does bring you that outside perimeter. You know, you're going late here into the 4th round at this point. This is going to be more of your developmental guys, and I think that this is a guy that they, would be okay with potentially developing. Over the course of his collegiate career, he's gotten better each year. He's really good against the run, and I think that that's an undervalued thing that the Patriots need, is that they need help against the run with their outside corners. Jack Jones, although he's a great corner, he's a ball hawk. He's a guy that has a lot of issues stopping the run. If the Patriots go play Jonathan Jones at safety, excuse me, or Jalen Mills at safety, both guys very good against the run. You need your outside guys to be able to stop the run for those outside run plays. So I think somebody like Corey Trice would come in and be very good for the Patriots in that aspect. Wouldn't need to necessarily start for them, be a CB1, CB2. You can kind of slowly thrust him into the position here, excuse me. And like I said, you get your height here too, and a good build, 6'3", 206 pounds. You finally have a guy that can go up against some taller guys here. So like I said, not a whole lot of cornerbacks I love at this point, but Corey Trice, I think, is probably the best New England's going to get here in the 4th round. And I do want them to still be able to acquire a cornerback, because I think they'll be fine there with safety. Maybe they add a safety between rounds 5 to 7. Parker Washington goes. That's a guy I like. But Zach Kuntz goes in the 4th. Man. That's rough. All righty. So let's see who's on the board at this point. We're now in round 5, and the Patriots usually don't really care much for 5th round picks. So I wonder if this is an area in which they would just trade for next year. See if there's anybody I really like on the board currently, though. I do like Bryce Ford-Wheaton. I really do, but like I feel like I don't know. I feel like you have your wide receiver core at this point. Jerry Jeudy's your number 1 guy. You have Juju as your number 2 receiver to complement. You have Judy and Juju to be able to play inside and outside. So I feel like you kind of have what you need at this point. You have your complementary piece here with Kendrick Bourne. I think that Devontae Parker is going to be a really good piece for them next year. Maybe you say they grab Bryce Ford-Wheaton to replace a Devontae Parker, and when he gets injured, maybe that's a route that maybe they look to go. So maybe that's something that we entice here a little bit. But I know Belichick doesn't like 5th round picks, so I wonder if he just trades this pick overall. We're getting a call here from three teams: the Colts, Vegas. We already traded with Vegas, so let me look at the Colts here. If we give you 153, well, actually, before I do that, I would really like to look at the tight end still. Josh Weil, I mean, a lot of these tight ends went very quickly off the board. The fact that Josh Weil at this point is the best tight end in the 5th round is crazy. These tight ends flew off in this mock draft. So let's trade out of this. I don't want to have like 13 picks for the Patriots. They usually only draft somewhere between like 8 to 10 players. So I want to try to keep this as realistic as possible. Let's go. I'll give you 153, and maybe we can compile some more picks for next year. Can you give me a 5th? Oh, no, we're already in round 4. Yeah, we're probably only going to be able to get a 5th for next year. Can we maybe pick up a 6th with that? Hello? So we get a 5th and 6th for next year by trading our 5th now that Belichick really doesn't care for anyway, because you can't get a 4th. The value just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's do it. Get some picks for next year. And we have a lot of picks next year, but compile them and make some more trades next year, because we're going to have a lot of money next year. So maybe make some trades with the amount of picks we have. So let's offer that. All right, resume here. And then went Bryce Ford-Wheaton, of course. The guy that we almost took. Maybe we should speed this up a little bit. If it lets me. There we go. So at round 6 here, can we go Josh Weil? I've been a big fan of Josh Weil. Point blank. Who do we got? Who do we have at safety? Anthony Johnson. So Trey Dean's still there. Trey Dean is a guy that I like that's fallen quite a bit. But we might be able to get him with our next pick. So let's not go. Let's test our luck and see if we can get him there. I've looked into Will Mallory a little bit, but I mean, man, Josh Weil is just so underrated here from Cincinnati. I mean, in the 6th round, what are you expecting? I just think that this guy is a very, just an all-around player. His drop rate, not bad at all. It's only 3%. This guy is a very reliable guy. 69.5 overall run blocking grade. I don't want to grab a guy that's just going to be a receiving threat, because the Patriots, they have that. They have those receiving threats with Hunter Henry, and especially with Mike Gesicki. You need a guy who's going to be able to block for you at tight end, but still have some receiving ability, I would say that Josh Wow's a little bit more of a blocker than a receiver, but he can play all over. He's played in the slot, he's played at inline, and he has experience as a pass catcher. So, if one of those guys goes down, he can still come in and play, but he can also actually give you some blocking responsibilities here also. And I don't want to go in this draft without drafting a single tight end. So let's go. Although, let's look at Will Mallory here real quick. Will Mallory is the type of guy where if you want to go strictly on a receiving tight end, this is the type of guy you go with. So the question is, do you want to go with a more well-rounded guy, or do you want to go with a straight-up receiver? I want to go a little bit more well-rounded here because that's not really what we have on the depth chart. So let's go Josh Weil here. And I know that this is usually where a lot of Patriots fans and whatnot like to try to trade picks because they're not far off. We've already traded a lot in this draft. I don't think they're going to trade a crap ton. So maybe we look at let's look at safety. I could see them going here. And the fact that Anthony Johnson is still on the board. Now, Trey Dean is a guy that they've met with and has been heavily linked back to them. He was much higher in this draft in his rankings, but just did not test out well at the combine. This could be a potential steal for the Patriots. I do like the potential, but you're not banking on him, right? Forced incompletion rate of 17.1%, still a pretty decent run defensive grade with 69.8 overall. And as you can see, he does play mainly box, but he's also played deep. And the thing is that the Patriots could use a box safety, but they could also use a guy that's going to be able to play deep. So try him in both spots, see where he's best. And I think either way, you're going to get a guy out of it that can be productive for you. Whether that's if Kyle Duggar isn't taking over for him, Adrian Phillips is on his last leg, take over for him. Or if at the end of this year, you have a guy that wants to play deep now and you don't have to put a Jalen Mills or a Jonathan Jones back there and you can leave them at corner. So Trey Dean, a guy that I really like here for the Patriots in a value situation, getting him here in the 6th. And this is usually where the Patriots do their magic in terms of offensive linemen. I think we have a lot of tackles at this point. Let's look at interior offensive linemen. Antonio Mafi's here still. Let's look at Mafi. Coming from UCLA. This is a guy that I think has some potential here. Obviously, guards aren't very highly thought upon. So, I think there's some potential here with him. A run blocking grade of 88.3, a pass blocking grade of 70.9. Usually the Patriots do draft guards that are better in run blocking and the pass protection. It's much easier to teach a guard in pass protection than run blocking. So that's usually a guy that they like to go with. Like you look at a Cole Strange or you look at a David Andrews, both of those guys better in run blocking than they were in pass protection. 6'4", 339 pounds. It's a pretty good build for a guard too. Looking at his alignment, he has experience playing right guard and left guard, which I really like, mainly left guard. So maybe if things don't work out with Cole Strange, you have a guy here, but a guy that maybe if Mike Onwenu leaves too, he has experience in 2021 with 235 snaps. It's like a year's worth being able to play over at right guard. So you get a guy with versatility, which I think they would really value here in the 6th round. Also, one snap at right tackle, not a whole lot. Put what you want into that. I just think he's going to be a guy that can play both guard positions for you. And I really like this year because they really do need some depth at guard. But behind James Ferentz, who do they really have? Maybe Chase and Hines, but we don't really know what he is either. So let's go here. And then this has to be special teams. I think they have to go punter here. And I think a lot of people are going to say, well, what about kicker, right? What about Jake Moody? I think Jake Moody goes way before 210, just to put that out there. So let me go down to special teams. And I think punter's more of a need, right? Because you have Nick Folk, who I think he'll still be fine for you. Now, I would probably prefer them bringing like maybe like a UDFA or maybe they use that 5th round pick and go Jake Moody and then a punter in the 6th or 7th here. But I just think they kind of like their punters to kick off. You need a punter just in terms of needing a punter. And I think punter's a bigger need at this point than it is kicker. So instead of Jake Moody here, want to respect the board. I don't think he's going to be here. Let's go with a Michael Turk. This is a guy that I really, really like, and I've talked about him so much on my channel. Patriots get their punter here, and that's not an issue. And it looks like this will be our draft. Man, I should have sped this up all the way. Oh, there we go. Go turbo for me. And you guys are probably going to look at the grades and be like, well, Patriots Global, they didn't like your grades, so this is a terrible draft. PFF never really likes your grades unless you're picking players exactly where they have them ranked. So that doesn't really mean much to me personally. How this pans out, I think you have to look at this draft. So we went with Dawand Jones here with our first pick in the second. Why? Because we traded our 14th overall pick to the Buccaneers for 19, picking up a 3rd and a 5th round pick. Not bad here, only trading down about 5 spots. Would have loved to get that second, but just logically wasn't able to. And then we used that pick to trade with, go down here, trade that pick to the Broncos for Jerry Jeudy. You get your number 1 wide receiver. This is something I really wanted to just kind of try on the channel just to see how it goes. But Dawand Jones, you get your right tackle. You get a guy who can be a starter for you and a developmental guy. I really like that for the Patriots here. Trade down here, and we go, or excuse me, we traded up here to get Dawand Jones. And then here in the 3rd, we went more with Jomo, maybe a guy that we could have gotten in the 4th. And something that I personally didn't want to kind of bet on, kind of talked about that pick already. I think that could be a low-key move that they go up and get. We don't think they were going to trade up for Christian Barmore in the 2nd, and then they did. So I think it could make some sense there. They solidify the defensive line going KJ Henry, an overall edge defender, I think would be really well for them. They solidify the running back group going Kendre Miller, who very much fits the scheme that they have in. Corey Trice, with where we were at this point, cornerbacks were kind of flying off. Not a whole lot of guys I liked. Like I said, kind of after the first 2, maybe 3 rounds, cornerback does fall off a bit, but I like the potential of Corey Trice. Don't need him to start. And he's a developmental guy in the 4th round. So I like that. Josh Weil, an overall guy, that can receive a little bit, but also a pretty good overall blocking tight end. Patriots add a little bit of depth there in the 6th round. They go Trey Dean. They get a safety who can, be a developmental piece. A guy that, again, maybe he's a box, maybe he's deep. He has experience in both places. I think that it gives him better ability to overall have a spot on this roster for the Patriots going forward. Maybe not in 2022, maybe not in 2023, but maybe 2024. Antonio Mafi here at guard. Patriots need depth there. At this point, you're kind of just taking shots, adding depth, and hoping you find a diamond in the rough, and you finally add your punter here. And then obviously made a trade here with the Indianapolis Colts, who traded our 5th round pick this year for a 5th and 6th round next year. Comparison picks for next year. They always love doing that, so I wanted to include that somehow. So we end up drafting what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total players, and then obviously traded for Jerry Jeudy. So if you want to include that 10, makes a lot of sense. Like I said, Patriots usually go between 8 to 10 overall, or 8 to 10 overall selections. So this fits right into what they usually do. Want to try to make this realistic. I think that this fits very well with building now for Mac Jones, getting him some help there, whether that's tackle and getting him a running back. Obviously trading for Jerry Jeudy in the 1st also, but you're also helping out your defense. You solidify the defensive line. I think something that they're kind of switching to versus the secondary, but you do still add some pieces in the secondary. Very good overall draft, I think. But what are your guys' thoughts here? Let me head back on screen. What are your guys' thoughts here on today's draft? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I appreciate you guys for watching as always, and never forget, go Pats.